AI layoffs don't pay off, and Anthropic wants to pay you $85,000 to be AI on-the-job training. So today we're going to take a look at the narrative that was and what really is. Now, if you're new here, my name is Rob, and this is the DAIN channel. Right now, we've got very few videos, but looks like a lot of different views. So if you want to check out how to use Claude, how to use it in everyday life, how to use it in your business, there is a link in the description for a playlist for the top 4, and we can go from there. Let's jump right into it. So today, what we're talking about is the layoffs, and things just aren't adding up, especially if you take a look at the corporations that are out there and what they've been doing and how much they've made mistakes. This is David Freeberg from the All In podcast, and he's going to talk to us about what the narrative is and why that narrative will not change, even though the data says something totally different.
The idea that everyone had in their head 2 years ago, the narrative that was formed and everyone clutched onto. And by the way, you will not see the media reverse on this narrative. I've realized the importance here when media. If you're a reporter or you're a journalist and you come up with some story that says something that's happening or is going to happen or has happened or is about the future, you destroy your own credibility if the narrative shifts. You cannot ever let go of the narrative. And I think this is one of the things that we can kind of acknowledge is going on with this job loss narrative problem, is that even as all the data comes out, as all of the reconfiguring of how enterprises are using AI, as it's revealing to all of them that they're actually not just going to cut costs, but they're going to grow revenue, and it's going to be a kind of clunky way of getting there, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not this slippery slope to job loss, to nihilism. Everyone's going to kind of wake up and be like, wait, this reality that we all thought we were living in is not really the reality that we are living in. We're living in a reality where AI is clunky. It takes some putting together. It's a little more complicated than we thought. It's definitely going to deliver value, but it's not about just turning off all the jobs and letting the genius AI solve all my enterprise problems and scale me into infinity without humans. And I think that that's a big kind of narrative shift. And you will not see the media accept that their narrative is wrong. Because as soon as they have to acknowledge that they were wrong in what they were saying about job loss, and all the other senators and people that are proclaiming job loss, job loss, job loss. By the way, the reason they're making that proclamation is so that they can step in and control AI and they can drive their systems of socialism, which is what they're all looking to deploy.
100%.
But if they had to come in and say, look, the data doesn't map to the narrative, their credibility is destroyed. So they'll double down on it, and they'll double down on it. And I'm telling everyone that's listening, look at the data. There is no job loss with AI. It is an absolute scam to tell the world that AI is taking away jobs and destroying jobs and the world is shifting. It is clunky. It is valuable. It is going to take some time, and it is going to create far more jobs than it is destroying.
Yeah, so don't take it from David Freeberg from All In Podcast. Take a look at data analytics firm Gartner, as they put out a report roughly a month ago, which talks about how autonomous businesses and AI layoffs may create budget room, but do not deliver returns. It states among organizations piloting or deploying autonomous business capabilities, AI, approximately 80% report workforce reductions, which is the job layoffs that we talk about. However, those reductions do not appear to translate into ROI or return on investment. That's one of the things we've been talking about on this channel and my other channel, Digital Asset News, which is I do not believe that AI is going to take over every single job out there. Their jobs are going to be eliminated. Like there is no typewriter repairman anymore. But for the majority, I think what AI is here to do is to make us better at our jobs, better at our businesses, better at growing businesses. And lastly, I will say this, and this is extremely important. I'm not here to automate your business away. For all of the different employees that you have to understand AI isn't here to replace their job. AI is here to make your business more profitable, get in more revenue, and make it so that your business is just outstandingly better. It's not about firing a bunch of people so you can automate those things away. I think that is a mistake, and I think businesses are figuring that out, what a mistake that actually is right now. So to break this whole study down, Shining Science put it in as a pretty good information. New Gartner research shows sacrificing human workers for AI investment is backfiring big time, yielding zero financial gains for major corporations. Gartner survey of 350 executives at billion-dollar companies reveals a harsh reality. These layoffs are not paying off. Those who slashed headcount saw the exact same financial gains as companies that retain their workforce. And look, human capital is very difficult. So when you're trying to retain your actual good employees and you have to lay them off because you think AI is going to be awesome, good luck getting them back. So again, I don't think that AI is here to destroy us. I hear it is to help to launch us to the next biggest thing. So to me, if you take a look at it, I think it's kind of like this. Imagine back in the day of the Ford Model T, before the production line, before Henry Ford said, we're going to put everything on a line and have everybody just produce it. You could produce a Model T vehicle. I mean, you've got the manpower. I use that term loosely right here. But imagine what you can do with those same amount of people, put it on an assembly line, use machinery. You can make things so much faster, so much easier. So instead of producing 1 car per day, you could produce 10 cars per day, 100 cars per day, and then what we're actually at right now. So again, AI, the businesses that endorse it and try to make it work are the ones that are going to flourish. And because of that reason, we just talked about this yesterday, Google. And if you want to see that video about why I think Google is going to do so well in the AI space, of course, they've got a lot of competition with Anthropic and OpenAI. But if we take a look at Ivan on Tech's bull mania, we can see that if I just would have listened to this, I've been up big time. Alphabet is actually up 70% since it flipped bullish. That's been 10 months or so. Alphabet, Google, 70%. Pretty amazing. And then the other one that I'm taking a look at and probably have done a fairly good amount is Cloudflare, which is one of the companies that I use to transition from websites of my business onto Cloudflare for essentially pennies in the dollar. And I think they're going to take over. And if I were to listen to this one, 147% up. So that's what we have as far as the base case. What's going on as far as with employment. Again, I don't believe this is the case. There's a narrative out there I think will be squashed soon. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section. To finish up, this would come down to the AI play and on-the-job training. Anthropic just released this a couple of days ago. They want to pay you $85,000 to learn AI. Yeah, it's real. It's called Claude Corp. Anthropic just launched it. It's a 12-month paid fellowship. They want to train you to use Claude from scratch, then place you inside a nonprofit to do real work with it for a year. You get paid $85,000 plus benefits the whole time. So you probably ask yourself, why would Anthropic do that? It's very simple. If they train you to be their cheerleader, and essentially you knew everything about Claude, and you can be put into a nonprofit organization, and then probably you move on to a profit organization, you are their biggest bullhorn. So they are essentially training you because they believe that you are going to be the loudspeaker for the next big play as to what these different companies are going to choose. And they need people just like you, and they want to pay you for it. I see no problem with this. Looks pretty good, but here's the stipulations. The barrier to entry is this. You have to be over 18, and you have to have less than 2 years of full-time work experience. Meaning, if you have more than 2 years and you're, just over 18, you still won't make it. You have to have less work experience than 2 years. They want to mold you from the floor up. You don't have to have a degree, though. You don't have to have an AI background. And the deadline is actually July 17th. And when I first saw this, I'm like, well, this could be a definite scam because I believe everything's a scam until proven otherwise. But if we take a look at the actual website itself, it's from anthropic.com/ClaudeCore. Links in the description. And it's pretty interesting about what they're saying here. And again, just to verify as far as applications are open to anyone over the age of 18 with under 2 years of full-time work experience. They don't want anybody brainwashed, for people who have been working outside of the AI industry. So that is what is happening. Go from there. This is a pretty big thing. Job application looks legit. And you could be learning things like this. Now, on this channel, we try to balance a little bit about what's going on with the finances as far as like with AI and some actual real world use cases for artificial intelligence. And what I'm doing with my businesses are a whole plethora of different things. Watch the previous videos. Again, we only have like 6 videos on this channel, so it's not that hard to reach them. But one of those is we are using Claude Desktop specifically for our short-term and medium-term rental facilities in Puerto Rico. And what we did is we transitioned from the websites, from traditional websites, from GoDaddy and those types of places, and just put them on a Cloudflare and a couple of different things. But one of the things we we really needed to do was SEO services. So with SEO, you can actually do that yourself. And with this one, what Claude was able to do was twofold. First, as far as SEO, things are shifting now. So it's not just SEO in the old way of like what Google is crawling. It's also SEO or GEO, generative engine optimization. With that one, when AI like say Perplexity or Claude or Grok or ChatGPT crawls your website, when people actually ask a question, it has stuff like this. And what I did was I had Claude do this for us. And you can see like this is what it'll actually crawl through and how it works. Then right here, it has the LLMs.txt, which when you click on that, it gives you all the information that can be pushed to the LLM and make things pretty easy. So there was this piece, which helped quite a bit for our properties. But what Claude does is it goes even further, things that I don't even really think about. And what it did was pretty interesting as far as like reminding me of things to do like this. So then here we are, and you can see that we're in Claude, and you can see that Claude just put this in, and which was a pretty good idea, which was to check the SEO and GEO. So it could actually be cataloged and it could be searchable and findable on the internet and on all the different LLMs and agents. So the website could pop up, and of course, more people could book these short-term and medium-term rentals. And it went through this and it said, hey, look, just so you know, this is what Claude states, this month I ran a direct exam domain search. And he says, the site may not be indexed at all. That wasn't in the original 13 prompt spec, just a diagnostic I added, which was a pretty good thing to do. So it came through and said like, hey, there's some things we need to fix, which it did because I'm already connected to Google Chrome. If you want to know how to connect an AI agent like Claude to Google Chrome, there's a link in the description. Watch the playlist. It's number 4, which is just called Connections. Makes things pretty darn easy. And then as it's wrapping up, I just say, hey, can you because we're using so many different tokens, let's do another session and throw up a chip so we can do, so you can put this to memory and we can continue on this without burning through the tokens. If you don't know what I'm talking about as far as like tokens, again, watch the playlist because you'll understand how important that is to actually save money and time. So what it did was it said, okay, let's do the fixed vacation schema. And it went through Google, and this is what it found. Hey, guess what? There are some critical errors that looks like it wasn't fixed. Looks like a vacation rental, an item was detected on one of the different pages. And then from there, it fixed it and then did a double check. And it said, great, now the vacation rental page is doing just fine. So from there, made things a heck of a lot easier. And then that was essentially it. And then from there, it gave me a recommendation like, hey, this is for the GEO, the generative engine optimization. We should probably do something for the SEO. And it spun up an SEO tool for me, a search engine optimization tool. And it found these little errors, which was pretty surprising. So I'm like, wow, we need to fix all this. Looks like keywords weren't there. Looks like a blog post wasn't there. A lot of things weren't there. And then it actually compared this to a competitor and how I'm actually losing and doing things. So for this, if you want to use like this SEO tool, it's pretty easy. When you're in Claude, you just go to customize. Then right here, you can skills, connectors, brand voice, blah, blah, blah. Click on the personal plugins. You click the plus button, and then you want to browse for it. And then what'll come up is all these different plugins and skills that Anthropic has created, like enterprise search, finance, legal, data, sales, all this stuff. And some people say that they don't like these, but this tool was from the marketing tool. So you click on marketing, and you can see right here, brand review, email sequence. These are all the skills that are built in. And the one that we were using right there was the SEO audit. So then you would just go on SEO audit or manage, and you would create another skill right into your directory and be able to use that. So if that's kind of over your head, I apologize. Again, watch the playlist, and that's it for today. So look, if you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. Everything we talk about on AI is relatively time sensitive, but that's it for this one. Thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.